She walked just 3 houses down the street for what should have been an ordinary Friday night babysitting job. But she never made it back. By morning, she was gone. No message, no struggle anyone could hear, just silence. In a town where everyone thought they knew each other, the truth of what happened would expose a dark secret no one was prepared to face. Her name was Rachel Miller, 17 years old, a quiet high school junior with a reputation for being dependable and kind. She was the type of girl parents felt comfortable leaving their children with. Babysitting was how she earned money for college, and she had a handful of families in her neighborhood who trusted her completely. That night, Rachel headed over to the Parkers' home. She waved to her parents from their porch, walked down Maple Street with her backpack, and stepped inside. By 9 p.m., she had tucked the Parker children into bed, texted her mom everything's fine, and curled up on the couch with her homework. Nothing about the evening seemed unusual, but when the Parkers returned just after midnight, they found the front door unlocked, the lights still on, the kids fast asleep upstairs, and Rachel gone. Her shoes were still by the door. Her phone and bag sat neatly on the kitchen counter. It was as though she had vanished into thin air. Panic spread instantly. Police arrived, canvassing the neighborhood. Neighbors searched garages, sheds, and the wooded trails just beyond town. Flyers went up within hours. Rachel's smiling photo plastered across utility poles and storefront windows. But detectives noticed something odd. There were no signs of forced entry, no footprints in the damp soil outside, no indication that Rachel had willingly walked off into the night. Then came a tip from across the street. A neighbor recalled seeing someone lingering by the Parkers' fence that evening. A tall figure wearing a baseball cap standing just out of the light. At first, suspicion turned outward. Maybe a passing motorist had grabbed her. Maybe it was a stranger who knew the Parkers were away. But soon, the investigation shifted closer to home, to someone who was always there, always around. His name was Mark Turner, the Parkers' next-door neighbor, a 42-year-old handyman known for being helpful. He fixed fences, trimmed hedges, shoveled snow for the elderly. Parents trusted him enough to keep an eye on their kids playing outside. People described him as reliable, though a bit odd at times. That night, Mark told officers he was in bed by 10 and hadn't seen or heard anything unusual. But his story quickly unraveled. Neighbors remembered him watering his lawn long after dark. Others said he'd been seen standing near the Parkers' property around the time Rachel disappeared. For weeks, the community held candlelight vigils. Rachel's classmates left flowers at the Parkers' gate. Parents gripped their children tighter, unwilling to let them walk to school alone. And yet, behind the fear, suspicion kept circling back to Mark Turner. The breakthrough came when detectives reviewed security footage from a traffic camera near the edge of town. At 12:20 a.m., just minutes before the Parkers arrived home, the blurry outline of a man dragging something was captured. The size, the build, it matched Mark. With a search warrant, investigators combed through his property. In his garage, tucked inside a storage bin, they found Rachel's denim jacket, one of her earrings, and her notebook with her name scrawled across the cover. Mark was arrested. Under questioning, he broke down in fragments, insisting he just wanted to talk to her, that things went too far. But soon, his darker history came out. Years earlier, he had been quietly removed from a job at a local youth program after concerns about his behavior. Nothing was ever formally filed, and he remained in the community, unnoticed and unchecked. Rachel hadn't fallen into the hands of a passing stranger. The predator was right next door all along. When her body was discovered weeks later in a wooded patch just outside town, grief swept through Brookfield. Vigils turned into protests. Parents demanded accountability. Why had red flags been ignored for so long? In court, prosecutors revealed chilling details. Mark Turner had waited until the kids were asleep, then lured Rachel outside under a false excuse. He overpowered her, hidden in the dark. The very trust he had built for years became his weapon. The jury deliberated only a few hours. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. For Rachel's family, justice was little comfort. She was just a kid, her father said, holding back tears. She trusted people. She trusted the wrong person. The town of Brookfield would never forget the lesson. Evil doesn't always come from the shadows. Sometimes it's the friendly neighbor waving from the driveway, the one fixing your gutters, the one you thought you knew. Rachel Miller left her home one Friday night for a babysitting job. She never came back. If you want to keep hearing stories like this, real lives, real betrayals, and the shocking truths that finally come to light, make sure you hit the subscribe button and join our community.